Hello guys, welcome back. So today we are going to solve another problem, which is finding duplicated character in a string using test-driven development. So the idea is, for example, we have a text hello and the output should be like L word or L character, or that specific single character has to count on that, and everything else should be ignored. So yeah, without further ado, let's try. So what we can do is we can create a new Xcode project, and we can go with the command line tools again, and let's let's name the project find duplicated character in string here, and let's go and create the project. So here we already have the project set up, so let's build first and let's see if we are having a green or clean state when we are building the project. So great. One thing that I want to do is, since we are using test-driven development, we want to enable the test target. So what we can do is we add this a new target here. For example, unit test target. We can search on the macOS unit testing bundle, and let's name it with the same name as the main target, duplicated character in string test. Okay, so we already have that target, and what we can do is we want to bind this scheme to be able to run the target. So let's click that scheme and set the test with the target, the test target. Now, so we don't need this scheme, the test scheme, so we can manage the scheme and remove that test scheme. So if we are set up correctly and we are only have like one scheme with the test target setup, so let's press Command U and we can see that we are able to run the test. Okay, the test is testing right now, so let's go. Okay, so the test is passing, so let's go and let's set up our first test-driven development step, which is making my test fail for now. So we could force it using execute fail, and let's hit the Command U to run the test. And great, we have the very first failing test here. Okay guys, so I have write the problem and the expected input and output, so we can go it one by one. So this find duplicated character in string problem. First of all, if we input an empty string, the output should be empty as well. And if we input A, it means that it does not have any duplicated character, then we can just return empty. And if the input does not have any duplicated as well, but more than one character, then the output is empty. But if we have a double character here, then we are storing that A and the counter is 2. This is the return type. And if we have like this hello and we only store the L, or we only give the output of this L character with the count of 2, and this one, if we have like a full and we have like F, the counter is 2, and O with the counter is 4. And if we like, for the rest of the character that does not have any double value or multiple value or duplicated, we can just ignore it. So with this mapping, we can go one by one in the test. So let's go, and we could try to cover the first scenario, which is the find duplicated character should return empty on empty string input. So what we want to do is we want to have like for example the program, and when we call that method here or the function in that particular string, which is the empty string, and we will have a result here, right? And I'm expecting that we have the result, an empty result like this. So we can try to run the test, and the compiler is guiding us. So let's create a struct with the given function here, func this one in string, and I'm expecting to return a dictionary of the character and the counter here. And for right now I'm going to return an empty dictionary. So let's run the test and see we are passing the test. So we could commit here, find duplicate character, returns empty result on empty string. Okay, so let's move to the other case, which is this one. So if we have like a single character, we should return empty on single character string, for example. So I want to input A, and the result should be empty because we don't find any duplication. Okay, right now the test is passing, but the logic does not resemblance the test. But since it is passing, then we can just commit, and then by adding the test gradually, we can increase the logic here, as long as we cover all of this scenario. So let's commit. I'm gonna commit find duplicated character. Let me see, should return empty on single character string here. And what are the other? So if we input AB, then it should be empty as well. So let's try. If I input AB, it should be empty. This one should return empty on non-single single character string without duplicated character. So let's run the test and let's see what happened. Okay, it returned an empty. So when we are trying to call this function, then we could return empty on non-single character string without duplicated character. Let's commit and let's see the other cases here. Now we are going to cover the main logic. So if I have the test find duplicated character, should return duplicated character with count. Okay, so what we want to do is we can just copy here and let's change the string, and we're expecting that there is the result of A with the count of 2 here. So let's run the test, and the test should be failing for now. Great, because we are expecting something but it is returning an empty. So it is actually good. What we can do, we can start to count, right? So how do we find the duplicated character? I believe we can iterate for each character in the string. For example, if that character is actually already exists in for example my hash table with that character that is being iterated, then we can add that particular character counter by 1. So value by 1. So this one should be count. This is the counter, right? And if I believe if we doesn't have the that character assigned in the, for example, our dictionary or hash table, then we can just assign that character and have a value of 1. So we are solving this using a hash table. So what we can do is we can create our hash table with the type of character and an integer. So for now, what we can do is we can return our hash table. So let's run the test and let's see if we probably might break something. Okay, so we break some tests. We pass on the recent test, but we break this test. So let's see why it is breaking. So we are storing the count of that A, and this one as well, A and B is both equal to 1 count, which is actually correct, but we don't want this A and B showed up. So what we can do, we can filter my hash table with the given criteria, which is the value or the count should be more than 1 only. So we can just ignore the counter of 1. So now we can see that we are having a green test here. So let's commit. I think we are good right now to commit in this condition. Find duplicated character. Let's see. Returns duplicated character with the count. Okay, so I believe we are okay with the implementation, but let's see if, for example, if we have hello keyword and this should be L equal to 2 and the test is still green, which is great. And for example, if we have like full here, and I believe I will have like an F of 2 and another O of 4 in the count. So let's see if we can get that. Okay, that's correct, which is good. We can verify this test by just changing this into like using this instead of you know, like the simplest example. But the idea is our implementation is working right now. So we can commit improve test by changing this case input. So there you are, guys, on how we can count the find duplicated character in string using hash table, but we are mixing this concept with TDD. So TDD for me is really helpful because it helps me to quickly verify am I breaking something or not, and to go one by one, single case by single case, in a really focused manner. So I think that's all. So for review, we are creating the hash table to store the every single character and the count, and we are iterating it, and we check if we can found that character that is being iterated. Then we get the count and we update the count by 1. Otherwise, if we don't find the character on that hash table, we could just assign that into 1. And then when we are returning the hash table, we just need to filter it by excluding the count of 1. So I think that's all, guys. I'll see you in the next video and in another problem. Thank you for watching. If you like, then you can put a like and subscribe, and see you in the next video. Bye.